True friends stab you in the front. I wouldn't hold my breath if I was you. You broke my heart and you know. True friends stab you in the front.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tiger Talks Wrestling. Week since we did our weekend review, but I am, of course, your host Tony, joined by the self-professed Mr. WrestleMania, Eddie. Welcome into the show, man.
Thank you. And yes, I have beat Shawn Michaels' record, and right back at you, HBK.
He's a little bit busy right now as he's got a show he's putting on or getting ready to.
Yep.
But yes.
Yep.
So then we got a lot to go over from the last 2 weeks. I'll be back and forth between two different things. Anybody who's got anything they want to add in the comments section, we'll be more than happy to chat along with people throughout. We're going to get right into the recaps here. So, going back to Monday Night Raw from January 22nd, 2 weeks ago tomorrow, the show kicked off, of course, with the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins, to clarify his injury that he has and how long he'll be out of action. Doctor said that it should take 3 to 4 months for the injury he had for him to come back, but he's doing everything in his power to make sure he's good to go for WrestleMania. Anything I had read about his injury, it looked like the most time he should spend away was like 4 to 6 weeks anyways. So I think the whole 3 to 4 months was probably just so that you don't know for sure. But hard to tell. Of course, Seth gets interrupted by I feel like it was one of the favorites to win the Royal Rumble at the time, the Intercontinental Champion, the Ring General Gunther. And I felt like those two guys put on a pretty great promo to kick off that episode of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, it was a great promo because I gotta say Gunther had the Intercontinental title longer than anybody else. He's a workhorse. You know, same thing go with Seth winning the title. And Gunther basically said your body broke down, but you're a champion. I mean, it shows that them two guys are the workhorse of the Raw brand, and I would love to see more from them too. So hopefully we get more of Gunther and Seth, because I think it'll be an amazing match with two of the workhorses of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I would agree. It was a match I never really knew I wanted until they stood face to face in the ring and had words on Raw. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It almost made me pick Gunther to win the Royal Rumble match as well. But if anybody watched the prediction show from last weekend, you seen I didn't go with Gunther.
Yeah.
No, we both. Yeah. That more later. Of course, out of that promo, you got the tag team match of Imperium versus the New Day, which ended in a double count out. Is those two teams just can't stand each other, and they had a really good brawl that went into the crowd afterwards, with Kofi and Xavier actually getting the better of Imperium, kind of, and suplexes through the tables. But of course, you had the cover reveal and the trailer for the 2K24 video game. Judgment Day had their stuff. Niall would go one-on-one with Valhalla to try and get some revenge from the week prior, from Maxine Dupree getting taken out by Valhalla. And I was pretty impressed by Ivy Nile in this match, but it still wasn't as good as her match she had with Rhea Ripley a couple weeks ago, though.
Yeah, I
think that's on Valhalla.
When I saw that match, I was like, Valhalla's good. It's just she never wrestles that much. You know, it's like we understand you want people to see your. We understand you want people to see your bare feet, and you dress like a Viking. But I would like to see more of her when she was. I mean, when she was Sarah Logan, you know, her original thing, she did a lot of matches with the Riot Squad. I would love to see more getting into more matches and all that because you're wasting her time. I mean, Ivy Nile is new to the Raw brand,
right?
And I see a lot of potential with her, but if you're wrestling somebody that hasn't been on TV that much, that's your problem.
Yeah, I'd agree. The one thing that stuck out the most to me, and I don't know how many people really caught it, but during that match, you actually could see Nikki Cross walk across the entrance ramp at one point. Like I said, I'm not sure how many people caught that, but you actually could see, if you look at the right part of the screen during that match, if you go back and watch it, you'll see Nikki Cross actually walked across the ramp.
I did not see that. Oh my God. I don't know what hell. I don't even know.
I figured a lot of people probably did, but I did catch
that. That is wow. That's a little creepy, but yeah.
Right. We're skipping promos for the most part. Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, and Bayley had their promo there. All giving reasons why they should win the Rumble. It'll end up in a brawl that Nia Jax got the better of Becky and Bayley and laid Bayley out with a leg drop. Becky and Rhea had a brief moment backstage after that. Then we got Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz. I know this is part of your favorite part because it's got R-Truth involved in it.
Yes.
Well, it normally would. Here it didn't, because R-Truth didn't show up for this match, unfortunately. But Dom had JD and Finn Balor in his corner, as Rhea had told him she wanted to see the darker side, I guess you could say, of Finn Balor that we haven't seen in a while, which we would get during and after this match, as Dominic Mysterio was able to pick up the victory thanks to help from the other members of the Judgment Day. And then they gave Miz quite the beating afterwards. So,
well,
they showed Damian Priest backstage, and he's talking to R-Truth.
Yeah, Tom and Nick really did a wonderful job in that match, by the way.
Both Tom and Nick, yes.
Yeah.
He did pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Miz, though. Can't seem to catch a break again. Who knows what's going on with the whole R-Truth thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Then we got Chad Gable versus Ivar. Really impressive match from Chad Gable, who I feel like we see some of his best work when he's in there. I might have mentioned this before, but when he's in the ring with these bigger guys, like a Gunther, a Bronson Reed, and Ivar, etc.
Yeah, I feel like he's, you know, let's go back to a story back in the day. I still think today he should have been Kurt Angle's illegitimate son.
Yes, I agree. Instead of Jason Jordan, he should have been Chad.
No offense to Jason Jordan, great talent. You know, he's an Olympian, but God, if you look at Chad Gable, He is a spitting image of Kurt Angle. Everything comes off him like Kurt Angle.
True.
I just wish the WWE
Could agree.
gives him. I just wish the WWE gives him a shot at the world title or something. You're wasting a great talent and a guy that basically looks like Kurt Angle. Don't waste something like that. I understand they like these big and outlandish wrestlers, but you got Chad Gable right there. They're messing up on that, and I wish they'd just give him some more. I mean, the guy shows that he could lift up a 300 to 400 pound man like he's a feather.
Right. Right. No, I completely agree with you. I still feel like he should have ended Gunther's Intercontinental Championship reign. Not necessarily the first time he went against him where he broke the record, but the match that they had since then.
Yeah, he should have, yeah. I mean, Gunther's a great guy. I mean, do something with with him. I mean, it's just sad. I mean, you're wasting in the only title he had was the tag team titles, and that was what, almost a year ago, almost 2 years ago. Since him and Otis won the
pretty
tag.
much. Something like that. Somewhere in there. I want to say probably closer to 2 now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's over with the crowd. He's showing people his ethic of working is just his in-ring skills good. When you go up against Bronson Reed, the guy looks like Typhoon, you know, from the natural disasters.
Right? Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about the Shockmaster because that was I don't want to say what I have to say about that.
He does some of this. Right. But even with all the amazing things that we've seen from Chad Gable in this match against Ivar, unfortunately, Ivar did win the match thanks to Valhalla with an interrupt and a distraction. But
yeah,
we got that. To me, this show was kind of a 2 promo show. That the 2 promos pretty much made the show, if you will. That opening promo and then this next promo. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, comes out, and before he can get a word out, here comes CM Punk to interrupt him. And so I'm not going to go over the entire promo. I mean, you can pick up parts from there if you want to, but I'm going to put down the main things that they said about each other. CM Punk told Cody Rhodes he's more Cody than Cody is, to which Cody says, in spite, that looking at how CM Punk left WWE, and if you talk about the pipe bomb from back in the day, Cody Rhodes is more CM Punk than CM Punk is. Which, in my opinion, Cody's right. Cody did go out into the independent scene and do all the things that CM Punk in his pipe bomb pretty much said he could do and didn't do. So I thought it was a great promo though. Seeing the handshake and the stare down, it made me, I know there was rumors afterwards about it happening, it made me want to see the match between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk at some point down the line.
Yeah, it was too, but let me just give you a little thing about the promo. My opinion. Yes, the pipe bomb for CM Punk changed the wrestling industry. That's one. Second one, when Cody Rhodes left the WWE, he was miserable with the Stardust in, but Cody went out to the independents and showed that he could be a world champion. And then he met up with 3 of his friends in Japan and started some company that is still around that's called All Elite Wrestling. So if Punk think that he's Cody Rhodes, he's wrong because last time Punk was in AEW, he beat up a Jungle Boy and a Young Buck and an Omega. So shut up.
Yeah, you're somewhat right.
Yeah. I'm going to get off that subject because it irritates me
Punk,
that he
main
thinks
thing was
he's better than anybody.
it's all good. He's more so saying, I guess he wasn't technically saying he's more Cody Rhodes, but he's more of the American Dream than what the American Dream is. That's actually how he put it.
Yeah.
Because he grew up, Punk grew up with a dad that was an electrician.
Well, congratulations. The dad was an electrician. Cody's dad was a plumber. So now we just need a police officer, a doctor, and a fireman.
Right? All right. But yeah, it was a really good promo between those two. And of course, they showed the 40 years of Hulkamania video. And Hulk talks a little bit about how he could have one more run in him, brother, and could be a part of the Royal Rumble match on Saturday. Then we get another. I hate to say this, but I feel like this has been consistent over the last few weeks on Raw. You get a women's tag team match that feels like it's the bathroom break of the show. To me, anyways.
It does. It
Shayna
does.
And like I said, I hate to say it because they used to call the women's match that, but it's just the way these tag team matches have felt lately. I mean, Zoe and Shayna went against Candice and Indy, and I felt like there's nothing I can remember really from that match. So, other than Zoe Stark picked up the win with the Z360 on Candice.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to bring you back to real old school. When I used to go to Madison Square Garden, the bathroom break was Iron Mike Sharp.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard of Iron Mike Sharp. Don't know how many people.
Yeah. Iron Mike Sharp matches was like the only thing the guy did when he was wrestling, he just go, oh, like, what the hell are you doing? Just wrestle. You know?
Right?
Or Brother Love.
Who?
Brother Love. I love you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I gotta stop being old school with wrestling. People are like, wait, what is he talking about? This is not me.
Nice. No, I know what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
I know a lot of that old school
No,
stuff.
some of the viewers were like, who the hell is Brother Love? Yeah.
That'd be a Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't know.
No,
his
but
Brother Love character.
I do have
he
to
was
say,
the manager of the Undertaker at one point.
That's right. And some of, like you said, some of the women matches now, tag team matches, are like, oh, I could go get a souvenir or a hot dog. You know, it's that boring.
Right. And like I said, I hate to say it, but it's just the way they've been booked, I guess. It doesn't feel like they're important or that worth watching or paying attention to, I guess.
Yeah. This is when we talked about this 2 weeks ago. They need to get rid of the tag team titles and make another women's intercontinental title.
Yes. They could do so much more with a mid-card title. for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, after the match, you seen Damage Control, or the Kabuki Warriors attack the then tag team champs, Kaden and Katana, but again, nothing really worth mentioning.
No.
Stage segment that didn't matter none. Drew talked, yeah. And of course, you got the main event match. Damian Priest one-on-one with Drew McIntyre. Those two have, I thought, really good chemistry in that match for being one of the first times that you've seen those two guys wrestle. It could have went either way, really, until you get to the end of the match where R-Truth gets involved and inadvertently costs Damian Priest the match. But it was probably the best match, in-ring-wise, on the show, in my opinion.
Yes, it was. I was still here, so yeah, I saw the match. I thought that Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, man, it was good chemistry. It's just the finish was a little botchy. I wish they would have did something else, but that's WWE for you.
Yeah. At times.
Yeah. At times at WWE, but showing for the past year, I feel Damian Priest has stepped up to a main eventer.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I would agree. Yeah, I have a feeling Breaker and Corbin are probably going to win this match, but we'll see. But pivoting off a little bit. All in all, I felt like that episode of Raw, for the most part, was a good final Raw build up to the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't say it was a great show by any sense of the imagination, but it had its moments. Again, the two things that popped out most to me were the Seth Rollins and Gunther promo, and then the Punk and Rhodes.
Definitely. I give it, if we're doing 1 out of 10, I give it a 6.
I didn't catch what he said there.
Sorry. No, I give it a 6. Out of 1 out of 10, I give it a 6 because the promos and the main event saved that show.
6 out of 10?
Yeah.
Agree. I would agree with that. All right. Let's move on past Raw into NXT. We are going to go through these a little bit quicker. So, of course, that episode of NXT on the 23rd kicked off with Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin going up against Nathan Frazer and Axiom in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic semifinal match. For anybody who hadn't seen much of Frazer and Axiom before this match, I felt like they got a good showing. I mean, they took the fight to Breaker and Corbin before the match actually began, which is something you don't usually see happen to Breaker or Corbin in any sort of a match. They looked really good, Frazer and Axiom did. However, things didn't quite turn out the way they wanted it to at the end of the match. I mean, Axiom ate an end of days. Frazer got the better of Corbin after that, and then Braun Breaker for Breaker and Corbin to get the win and advance to the finals.
No, it was a good match, and I like the name that they're going, the Lone Dog, but I want to call them the Lone Puppies. I think that's a little more better name for them.
Wolf Dogs.
The Wolf Dog, but I want to call them the Lone Puppies.
They go by Wolf Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see how long those two are a tag team, but so again, I don't really don't really write down promos that happen from NXT, but if there's anything that pops into my head, I'll mention it. The next match they went into was Lash Legend versus Ren Sinclair, who, as we mentioned a couple weeks ago, was Maddie Rankowski in AEW. I think she had a stint in NWA as well for a little while. First singles match for Ren Sinclair in NXT. I thought she looked pretty good in it. Not surprisingly, though, she did lose to Lash Legend. I mean, the numbers game was there. All three of the other members of Metaphor were out there with Lash, so it wasn't surprising to see Lash Legend pick up the win. It was nice to see, however, afterwards, Fallon Henley come out to make the save and help the rookie out.
That was the only part of
Twiddling thumbs. That's what you think about that. Oh,
yeah, that was the only part about Manny Rankowski really did an excellent job. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what I think about Lash Legend. Just yeah, all right, I'm good.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Lash Legend either, to be honest. But all right, move from there. You got it was supposed to be Dijak versus Joe Gacy, but as Dijak was coming out, Gacy attacks him from behind. They end up brawling all throughout the ringside area. Gacy gets thrown over the part of the barricade. He gets put through the stage area and still gets back up. He gets put through the announce table, still gets back up. It's like Joe Gacy's the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going and going and going no matter what Dijak does to him.
Yeah, when I saw it, I'm like, God, just stay
Interesting
down.
to see Joe
Just
Gacy
stay
keep getting
down.
up. Right? I'll get more into that when we talk about this past Tuesday's NXT as well. But move from there, you got Lexis King versus Trey Bearhill. Of course, Lexis King originally took out Trey Bearhill and cost Bearhill his chance to be in the breakout tournament. Counter effect was Trey Bearhill cost Lexis King his semifinal match in the tournament. So Lexis looked pretty decent in here. Trey Bearhill's still somebody newer who you could tell still needs more seasoning, I felt like, in this match. But I do enjoy the finisher that Lexis King uses. The coronation, they call it. It's a really nice move, I feel like. And it fits the character really well. As Lexis King, of course, got the victory.
Oh, of course. I think Lexis King / Brian Pillman. I think, yeah, he's doing a great day. But I just want to ask you something. What the hell is going on with his mustache? It looks like they put makeup to make him look like he don't have no facial hair. Like, what the hell is going on there?
I have no idea. I kind of wanted the same thing. It's like, dude, what the hell, man?
And
yeah,
yes,
grow it. Actually, really grow it, not.
Yeah, and when you face Tatanka's son.
Yeah.
I know he's not Tatanka's son,
Almost
but
what Trey Bearhill seems like, doesn't it?
My God, I just want Tatanka to come back to NXT like, oh, he's one of my tribal kids.
That would be great. You could probably use it.
Oh.
All right. There you got a randomly put together match. Earlier in the show, OTM had invaded the D'Angelo family restaurant, I guess, pretty much, and had taken out. I just drew a blank on her name. The newest member of the D'Angelo family, Adriana Rizzo. to which the D'Angelo family said they'd get revenge on OTM for that. And hence, we get this match where Dragon Lee goes on with Scripps. Of course, Scripps has OTM out with him. Decent match. I'm still not a huge fan of Scripps. I wasn't when he was Reggie. I didn't think he was all that great in the ring then. I still don't think he's all that great in the ring personally. OTM and the D'Angelo family get into a brawl towards the end of this match. Leads to Dragon Lee hitting his version of Salida del Sol to get the 1, 2, 3 and beating Scripps. I call it something different, but that's pretty much what
I agree with you with Virgil. Yeah, he's not really that good.
Yeah. I mean, Dragon Lee couldn't even get that good of a match out of him, in my opinion, there. So,
yeah. Just go back to Carmelo being wine consort, whatever the hell what the hell you were, bottle opener. I mean, sometimes I just think he has the talent. He can't figure out what to do, and I wish he could, because he's really good at what he does. I mean, he's really good at what he does, but he's not ready to face somebody like a Dragon Lee.
Right. Oh, I agree. Wow. Impressive. Anywho, because my attention is going to be both places, so
it's fine. It's fine.
They went from that match. You got Blair Davenport versus Carmen Petrovic. I guess Blair kind of got eliminated, I think, by Carmen in the Battle Royal week before, and then took Carmen out afterwards. That's why they had this match. Another women's match that was just there, pretty much, in my opinion. Blair looked good. Blair got the win, of course. Yeah, that's about all I got to say about that match. Carmen hasn't done anything too impressive yet, in my opinion, in her brief career so far in NXT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just got this.
That's all you got to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Bubbles! Nice. Will you do two?
No,
I wouldn't do two.
You know, I'm waiting for the fireworks behind me.
Right? Still don't know how you managed to get that stuff to happen, but
I don't know. I'm still trying.
Then we move on to the NXT main event. You got Trick Williams, right? You got Trick Williams one-on-one with Josh Briggs, who had confronted Ilya Dragunov earlier in the show, and off of what JBL had told him the week before, Josh Briggs was trying to find himself and wanted to go after the biggest dog he could, pretty much. But Trick Williams said that he'd fight him instead. Dragunov's on commentary. Trick and Briggs had a pretty decent match for the two guys. And Dragunov, of course, gets involved because the other guys get him involved. Carmelo comes out to try and keep Dragunov from getting too far involved. A distraction happens. Trick Williams picks up the win over Josh Briggs to end the just about to end the show. I called that one. As we're talking, Braun Breaker just pinned Carmelo Hayes to win the Dusty Cup with Baron Corbin.
I think we all knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. Congrats to Baron Corbin, because he was a little, I didn't realize this till the other day. He was in the finals of the very first Dusty Cup tournament with Rhino to lose to Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, and this is the first time he's been back to the finals since then.
Oh my God, that's right.
Aha.
Wow.
So Hayes actually pushed Williams out of the way of taking a bullet and took the spear from Breaker, which cost him the match there. Okay. Yeah, I know. I couldn't. When they mentioned that it was the second time that Corbin had been in the finals, I had to look it up. I was like, what? Who the hell did Corbin team with in the Dusty Cup before this?
Yeah.
And I was like, I forgot about that completely.
Yeah, he was so young then, but I mean, he's young now, but I don't know how old he was then. Wow.
Yeah, that was quite a few years ago, 6, 7 years ago, something like that.
Wow. Speaking of that main event from NXT last week or 2 weeks ago, I would love to see Briggs being managed by JBL.
Right? I mean, I know they tried it with JBL in the corner of Corbin, but I just feel like him and Briggs would be a perfect match together. Because Briggs isn't a good talker, in my opinion, and JBL we all know is. So why not?
I think if WWE would do this, or Sean, I think if Sean would do this, put JBL with Briggs, I think he could skyrocket to the main event.
Right? I think it would too. I mean, after the match, he did even hit Trick with the clothesline from hell as well. Briggs did, so why not pair them together?
Right? I mean, yeah. That's the only thing I have to say about that match. But it was a good match, and it leads up to tonight's Vengeance, with Elio and all that. That is continuing until tonight's main event, but it's been well done. That's the only thing I have to say about that.
Yeah, I'd agree. The storyline between Ilya, Trick, and Carmelo really has been a pretty good storyline. We'll see where it ends up leading tonight, because I almost feel like, well, I'll talk more about that when we get to this past week's NXT. I'll tell you what I feel like is going to happen from there. That was the main event match from that episode of NXT, but there was another thing that happened afterwards. The women's championship contract signing between Roxanne Perez and Lyra Valkyria. Went pretty much the same way you'd figure most contract signings go. However, Lyra went to leave and Roxanne was still in the ring. She gets attacked from behind by the Mickie James, if you will, in this story. Tatum Paxley, who put Roxanne Perez through the table. Lyra comes back in the ring and pushes Tatum Paxley away and tells her to stay away from her. She doesn't need her messing around with her business, pretty much. Which, of course, Tatum's not too thrilled with, it seemed like. But
yeah, when you're dealing with Freddy Krueger's daughter, I mean,
that's pretty much all that happened with that contract signing.
Yeah. When is a contract signed in WWE? When is a contract signed in WWE ever normal?
Never.
No, yeah.
Always something happens during them.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Friday Night SmackDown. The 26th. I love how they're at the beginning of Raw and SmackDown now. They pretty much show certain superstars arriving to the building earlier in the day. Kind of makes it a much different feel, I feel like. I personally think.
No, I definitely agree with you. I think when they show it like the wrestlers are coming in, I think it shows a different side of it shows the different side of the business that fans never been back there. So I like the way they're doing it.
Yeah. Me too. So then SmackDown, after they show a few different people arriving to the building, would start with Eladio Carrion coming out to introduce his good friend, the Legend Killer, Randy Orton. Randy would talk about the Fatal 4-Way match 62 days away. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see that press conference on Thursday. Sorry. And Randy Orton talking about the Fatal 4-Way match, which of course brings out AJ Styles and then LA Knight. I was waiting for something there, but I didn't get it. That's okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned LA Knight. What do you usually hear behind it? There you go.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like, wait, I didn't know. And I could be honest to all the viewers, I didn't watch this because I had some other obligations.
Oh, you haven't watched it since either? Shame.
I know.
Anywho, they talked and ended up brawling, and AJ kind of got the receipt on Randy Orton with a Pele kick, as he told Randy he was owed a receipt after the RKO from the week prior. And we got Carlito one-on-one with Santos Escobar in a really good match, as you probably would figure those two would have. Angel and Humberto and Cruz del Toro and Zelina Vega and Joaquin Wild all out at ringside. The guys fight, and then Elektra Lopez actually arrives and takes out Zelina Vega, which cost a distraction, and Carlito would get beaten by Santos Escobar with roll up, I believe. And again, thanks to Elektra Lopez's emergence and now rejoining the Legado del Fantasma. You should, if you haven't watched it yet, you should make sure you take time to go and watch that match, I feel like.
Oh, I will, yeah. But I knew about her.
It was really
we
good
talked
match.
about this 2 weeks ago. I said Elektra Lopez is going back into, Escobar's group. I already knew that was going to happen because she fits into that perfect mold of that group.
Right. Next match. Yeah, I know we called that one. Things didn't quite turn out exactly how I thought they would when it came to the Royal Rumble, when it's El Legado and LWO wise, but we'll get into that later. Nice. From there, they went back and you see Jimmy Uso talking to AJ Styles, and then Jimmy walks away, and Carl Anderson, Micha, and Luke Gallows come in, wondering what Jimmy and AJ were talking about. As Jimmy's trying to get AJ to take out Randy ahead of the Fatal 4-Way match, as Randy Orton will be in the main event again. No, Randy wasn't in the main event, but still. Trying to get rid of Randy and LA Knight. Sorry. Both guys, not just Randy. Because LA Knight would be in the main event against Solo. And Gallus and Anderson saying they still got AJ's back if he needs them. And AJ just pretty much didn't say nothing and walks away. As it still seems like the Phenomenal One kind of wants to be on his own path and is distancing himself from the OC.
Yeah, that's a sucky part.
One thing I will say I really enjoyed about this episode of SmackDown.
That's a sucky part because that's a good group.
Yeah, it is. one of the things I do like though about this episode of SmackDown was they did have Nick Aldis and the new NXT general manager. Forgot to mention that on NXT she was announced as the new general manager, Ava, with an appearance from William Regal, by the way, first time in over a year, almost 2 years. Those two would be back in Nick Aldis's office, and they actually had a tumbler there, and they had superstars come in to pull their numbers for the Royal Rumble throughout the show. So I did enjoy that very much. You see many superstars come in and have altercations there for that. What's next? Then they showed a really good video of Bayley heading into the Royal Rumble, talking about the formation of Damage Control and how everything's gone so far, leading up to her going into the Royal Rumble match the next night, and her plan to go on to face Rhea Ripley from there. More backstage. Then you got, of course, the Kabuki Warriors versus Kayden Carter and Katana Chance for the women's tag team titles. It was a pretty good tag team title match. Again, they don't give them as much time, I feel like, for the women's division as what they should right now, but it was still a good match. The Kabuki Warriors, as most people I'm sure figured, walked out as the new tag team champions. You didn't figure that was going to happen, then you must live under a rock, in my opinion. Even though my, as you put it, color commentator, my niece, thought for sure that Kate and Katana were going to retain. There's no way Asuka and Kyrie weren't going to win the tag titles. I felt like. I wasn't surprised by that. You didn't see it. I guess you don't have a whole lot to say about it.
I think we all knew when that match was on.
Yeah.
I think when we saw that match 2 weeks ago, when we heard it was going to be the Kabuki Warriors versus, the Party Jam.
Yeah.
I already know what was going to happen because I'm like, they're going to get the title to them. It's like, I call that the transition title. It's like they keep it on for 2 weeks and then they give it to somebody else.
Right. What it feels like, I guess.
Yeah.
They had a lot of stuff backstage. I mean, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits came out, wanted to fight with Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain, but instead they got a video. All that fun stuff. They showed the video of Logan Paul and Kevin Owens from in the Performance Center. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but they got into an altercation in the Performance Center a couple of days before the Royal Rumble. Yeah, that was a pretty good segment that they did there. Didn't really get to fight each other because they got pulled apart, but still, it was nice to see. From there, you got Austin Theory versus Carmelo Hayes in a rematch from a couple weeks ago. A pretty good match, but thanks to Grayson Waller, Austin Theory would actually pick up the win over Carmelo Hayes, unfortunately. And after the match, Grayson and Theory would beat up Carmelo until Trick Williams would make his SmackDown debut, and the crowd went wild for Trick Williams and its theme song. Whoop That Trick. You could hear it throughout the entire arena in Miami as he came out to make the save. I've even seen that management and creative were so impressed by the reaction he got that you shouldn't be surprised if within like the next month or so to see Trick Williams call up the main roster.
But he should.
So
I can be honest. He should bring Booker T with him.
Yeah. I have to agree with that.
Or just have Booker T
Wherever he
do
goes,
his,
Booker T needs to go with because he makes that.
or have Booker T do a voiceover when he does that. All right, yeah, that's great. You know,
Right. Yeah. All right. And from there, you got pretty much the main event. You got LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa.
yeah,
It was a decent match. It didn't sell that long. Match ended in a disqualification as Jimmy Uso, of course, gets involved. AJ comes out. Looked like AJ might actually take the chair from Jimmy Uso and hit LA Knight with it, but instead he goes after Jimmy and Solo and beats up them. Randy Orton ends up coming out. It's just a brawl between all those guys, and didn't end too well for the Bloodline, but was what it was. Again, SmackDown was another decent show for a lead into the Royal Rumble, but still wasn't a great show by any stretch of the imagination. Things that stood out the most to me were Carlito and Santos match. Theory and Hayes had a really good match. They have really good chemistry together. Those would be the two things that mainly stood out to me during the entire show, really. There was no promos or anything that was that huge, other than the Bailey video package. I really enjoyed the video package they showed for Bailey.
yeah. I did watch the video package on YouTube.
All right.
I actually thought it was. I thought it was great the way they, from her NXT's days to now. I thought they did an excellent job on that video package for Bailey.
So I would agree. It's one of the best video packages seen for a woman in quite some time, I feel like.
Most definitely.
All right. Well, that brings us to, of course, the Royal Rumble. We had our predictions at that time. Me and I already know how we did.
Yeah.
To get the open video and then showed all these different people that arrived earlier in the show. But you can't have the Royal Rumble without Pat McAfee. As for the second year in a row, the show kicks off with Pat McAfee coming out. Hey, let's go! Much to the chagrin of Corey Graves. But this time, unlike last year, Michael Cole admits he did know that Pat was going to be there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Corey Graves, Corey Graves is like this. Like, damn it, I hate 30 this guy.
Right? You get over it, though. Yeah. And we start off the in-ring action with the 30 women Royal Rumble match. And first entrant in the match was Natalya. What'd you think of having Naomi, the surprise return, being the number 2 entrant in the Royal Rumble match?
Magical. She deserved everything she got at when she entered at number 2. She deserved everything about what went down when her and Mercedes were tag team champions. I think she deserved all of this, and I'm glad she's back.
Me too. I mean, she had, I believe, the second longest time in the match, and I believe it's now the second longest time in a women's Royal Rumble match as well. So. I would say, for the most part, I think the 30 women that were involved in this match were who you figured they would be. but I will go over a few surprises. The first surprise after that at number 5 was the TNA Women's Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace. John called this on the prediction show. He said that Jordynne Grace was his fantasy pick, I guess you could say, to be in the Royal Rumble match, but he didn't figure that would happen. Now, I did mention during that, I was like, well, I had seen during the day that Impact Wrestling, or TNA Wrestling, excuse me, was supposed to be heavily involved in the Royal Rumble. So as Jordynne Grace came out, she had a really good showing. The only thing I have against it is I feel like, no, they're not going to have an outsider go on to be in the Final Four or anything like that. But you still could have given her an opportunity to get an elimination, and it could have led to maybe there's been talks on social media anyways, and there was talks other places that there could be a partnership between the two companies really come into TNA, or she could come back onto WWE programming and face for that women's knockouts title. But that's my only gripe about it. I felt like they should have gave her at least one elimination.
That would be amazing. Scott D'Amore.
She looked great otherwise.
Oh God, no, yes. Scott D'Amore and Triple H working out to make that women's division more deeper. I think it would be great for wrestlers to see people like, who's the knockouts? Mary Rose. Am I saying her name right?
Mm-hmm. What'd you say?
I think Mary Rose, and, she's always gone by different names in Destiny or Dynasty, whatever the hell that.
Rosemary.
That, yeah. Rosemary, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see Rosemary. I would love to see Rosemary in WWE.
Yeah. You can see that. That would be awesome. Well, anywho, you see, Bianca got her spots. A lot of these women did. The next big surprise, of course, would be the 28th entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble match. Well, really, I guess 27th and then 28th. Roxanne Perez from NXT, number 27. Number 28, the debut in WWE for Jade Cargill. The spot where she came in, who she went right after, the way she eliminated Nia Jax was a holy shit moment if I've ever seen one. Admittedly, I've never been a Jade Cargill fan in AEW. I felt like they gave her too little to work with, I guess, and pushed her to the moon way too quickly, I felt like. But this way to debut her, I felt like, was probably the best way to debut Jade Cargill for WWE. And I really enjoyed seeing her get that big spot with Nia Jax and being the one to eliminate, who looked like she was unstoppable up until Jade Cargill came out into the ring.
I agree with you, man. What a debut. What a debut. You actually lift up Nia Jax like she's a feather and then dump her out like that. Like, wow. Do I think she's ready for more matches? Who knows? Because AEW treated her like she was like the Goldberg of a women's division.
Yeah.
They have been rumors, and I was reading something about her
It was
that
definitely
there are rumors that I've been reading about her that the reason why she hasn't been around that much is because she's having trouble learning her routine, and they want to keep working on her because she can't remember the routine every other day. So they're wondering what's going on. So that's why they're taking her sweet time with her.
that's good if that's the case.
Yeah.
I'd rather them wait and see her once she's good to go instead of greener than green like she was in AEW.
Yeah.
But like she just was pushed too far, too fast, too soon. And not only did she have a good spot with eliminating Nia, but I felt like she had a good run, had good spots with Bianca Belair and Naomi at different points during the Rumble as well. I mean, the double suplexes that her and Bianca did at one point was incredible. And I could see that in a future, potentially WrestleMania match at some point in time between those two.
I agree with you with that. And if WWE can keep the tag team titles, which I don't want them to, they could be a great tag team.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Of course, we talk all day about Jade, and other people had a lot of good moments in there. We'll mention Naomi there before I get into the final entrant. Naomi, through a little bit of help from Jade, would eliminate Becky Lynch from the match, who wasn't one of the odds-on favorites. Jade had knocked her over and, of course, had Naomi in her arms, and Naomi got pushed into her pretty much. But the last two, I should say. Number 29 entrant into the Women's Royal Rumble match would, of course, be the center of the universe, if you will. The former NXT Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton, who knows a thing or two about Becky Lynch herself. Tiffany would come in and pretty much right away eliminate Roxanne Perez. Those two have a history, so not surprising there. And then number 30 in the Royal Rumble match was the returning Liv Morgan, who we haven't seen in months. Somebody that John, I think, pretty much didn't figure would show up in this Women's Royal Rumble match, but Liv did. What do you think of the match overall? And then, I mean, the final four, you got Liv, Bayley, Jade, and Tiffany Stratton, which is unique to say the least when you look at the roster of the women that were in this match.
My opinion, I think they got it right. That all puts aside, you got the current roster plus you got the future. With Liv and Bayley, yes, that is that is guys that's the ladies that's been there for a while. But other than that, I think they got it right. Show the new talent. Show people, oh look, this is what we have. This is our new brand. This is what's coming up in the WWE. You're showing talent that people haven't seen yet on regular basis. So I think they did a good job with that one. And then I know you didn't mention it. What I was really happy was that our troop finally made it into the first Royal Rumble that wasn't his.
Yeah. It was when Valhalla came out at number 24. Our truth came out as well, thinking that it was supposed to be the men's Royal Rumble match, and it said it was. And he gets in the ring and says, "Where's all the guys? Where are all the men? These are all men." And he gets eliminated by Nia Jax.
He just
for sure.
He just wants to make me cry every time I watch something of his.
Right. Speaking of funny though, throughout the match, I mean, Piper Niven and Chelsea Green and Nia Jax. Chelsea was just a ping pong ball at times. It kept just getting squashed no matter what. She lasted quite a while in there. I'll give her props for that before Becky Lynch eventually eliminated Chelsea. But the poor girl got squished here, there, and everywhere throughout that ring. Whether it was by Nia Jax or by Piper Niven herself.
But at least she lasted long in this Royal Rumble than the last one.
Yes. That is true. So then, that said, go into the final four. Bayley would eliminate Bianca Belair to get to the final four, then would eliminate Tiffany Stratton. Jade and Liv would be fighting outside the ring after they had both gone over the top rope on the apron. And Liv would take Jade down, eliminate Jade, which in turn, Bayley would hit Liv from the side and knock her to the floor, meaning the win for Bayley as she gets her first ever Royal Rumble match victory. I think all three of us, at least personally, you, John, and I, were happy to see that as we all picked Bayley to win the Women's Royal Rumble match. Much deserved, I think, after the last couple of years that she's had in WWE. Bayley's put up with a lot of shit and had through her injury that she had. She deserves it, in my opinion, and has earned it.
I do. I totally agree with you. Bayley has done everything in WWE, and this one is just the icing on the cake, man. She's a talented, and I'm very happy for her that she got what was coming to her.
And she also broke Rhea Ripley's record as having the longest time spent in a Royal Rumble match at 1 hour, 1 minute and 3 seconds, I think. So, yeah. Bayley can actually say she outlasted all 29 other women because she came in number 3 and she won the whole damn thing.
Well, 28.
Because neither one or two, Natalya nor Bianca, got eliminated before she. 28?
28 in R-Truth.
Who are you not counting? Well, 29 in R-Truth. So it was still 30 women because Valhalla did get in there.
Yeah, I know. She did a bushwhacker.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Women's Rumble, what the hell was Kairi Sane doing? I don't know how she held on that long on the apron and thought she could pull herself up into the ring. I have no idea what the hell she was doing.
I mean, I was hoping she would have figured out a way to get back in because that was incredible.
It was.
To see her holding on to the rope, to the apron the way she was. I was like, come on, you got to get back in there. That was too good of a viral moment, pretty much. A Royal Rumble moment, if you will. And of course, she couldn't save herself, though, in the end, unfortunately. Got some nice memes out of it, though.
Oh, yeah. She pulled a Kofi.
Yeah, she did. Speaking of, we'll talk more about him in a little bit, but so from there, the Women's Royal Rumble match, you go into the Fatal 4-Way match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So I mean, all four guys got their moments in this match. They all got their finishers in at different points. Randy Orton hit the RKO on Roman at one point, had the victory, comes out, pulls the referee out of the ring, a la what we've seen happen to Drew McIntyre at Clash of Castle. He gets taken out, Solo got taken out, but still, in the end, Roman Reigns picks up the victory, retains after a spear to AJ Styles. Personally, I felt like with the four guys that were in this match, that was weird. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. That was what the hell?
I'm not sure if that was something on my end or your end or what, but anyway, we're still live, so but the point I was getting to, I felt like with the four guys that were in this match should have been so much better than what it was, personally. I was not really that impressed by it.
Yeah. I mean, there was one move that I liked with Randy when Roman tried to spear him and he did it in RKO in midair. I mean, that was a cool spot, but
yeah, that was great.
It's a typical Roman Reigns match. I mean, what are you going to say? It's a typical Roman match.
Yeah, pretty much. Unfortunately. Like I said, it was a flop to me. All right. I think that's pretty much all we got to say about that one. Then you got Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul for the United States Championship. And honestly, I feel like this match was quite a bit better, I felt like, than that Fatal 4-Way match that was on before it. Not a huge fan of how it ended, but the match itself leading up to the end was really good between KO and Logan Paul. Of course, you get Grayson Waller and Austin Theory coming out, and you have Logan Paul's crony out there trying to hand off the brass knucks. Knucks get involved. KO actually gets a hold of him and uses them on Logan and gets caught by the ref. Logan Paul wins by DQ. That all was a bit of a mess, but like I said, the match up until that point was really good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I did the match, excellent match until the finish, and I did say that. Watch, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are going to interfere because that's what they do. That's part of the storyline, But I knew KO was going to lose because they wanted to extend the storyline, and yeah, I think it was a great way. But there was one part in the match when Logan did his entrance. I swear he was trying to do one of the Randy Orton's old thing with the title.
Yes, I did notice that. They even show it in the highlights after when they showed him on Raw and SmackDown. They show him doing that pose too. I'm like, perhaps that's Logan Paul's next challenger. Perhaps that's just his way of giving you a little Easter egg, if you will.
Or should we see maybe
Logan did say, and we'll get into in a little bit,
maybe a triple threat match?
Maybe. Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out. Could be. But yeah. Again, pretty good match. The ending was convoluted, if you will. All right. But at least KO got his lick of revenge, I guess you could put it. after the match and put Logan Paul through the announce table too. So got a little bit of revenge. Say that. Things are definitely not done between them. And I finish writing this down here real quick. Then, of course, we got the main event, the men's Royal Rumble match. So we had John and I had during our prediction show put who we thought were going to end number 1 and number 2 in both matches, among other things. And for this match, I've said it would be number 1, Jimmy Uso, number 2, Jey Uso, which I can mention because, in all actuality, number 1 entrant in the men's Royal Rumble match this year was Jey Uso. Number 2, his brother Jimmy Uso. So, I mean, I might have had him switch the way around, but still. Interesting that I had that right. In a way, I guess.
I would agree with you because I was like, no, the Usos.
What do you think of having the Usos start off the Royal Rumble match?
Let me say this. If I was a part of that prediction show, my prediction would have been the Usos would have started the men's Royal Rumble. I knew that was going to happen because it showed every time that it was going to happen. So me and you would have been on the same page.
Nice. I'd have to look at my notes. There were some things that John and I both got right about predictions wise for that show, but because John had Cody Rhodes and Jimmy Uso kicking off that Royal Rumble match, but
All right, just have to get a charger because my thing's going off.
Uh-oh.
That's all right. I have my portable charger
Right.
here. Hold on.
Okay. So from there wasn't really a whole lot of surprises, I guess, technically in this match. I mean, there was a couple, but the first surprise entrant, of course, would be the return of Andrade at number 4 coming out there. Nice to see Andrade back in WWE, that's for sure. It was something I figured would happen here, but
oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen when Tony Khan said, "Oh yeah, he's not resigning." I said, "Oh, he's going back to be Mr. Charlotte." So I knew that was going to happen.
right. Of course, after Andrade entrant, the number 5 entrant was Carmelo Hayes, which wasn't a huge surprise because it was kind of played up on SmackDown for a couple weeks leading in. We got all the members of Imperium of Judgment Day that were in there. Kaiser and Gunther both were out for Imperium. New Day were in. Kofi was in there. That's what I wanted to mention. Kofi didn't even try a save spot this year. I was a little disappointed. I know he had said that he wasn't going to, but still, that's one of the highlights of usually of the Royal Rumble is seeing Kofi trying the save spots. You didn't really get anybody to try to do a save spot in the men's match, I felt like, though.
Yeah, I was a little shocked because that's Kofi's stick, you know. you don't have to do it if you don't want to. But man, it would have
Right.
been amazing trying to save himself, not just all right. You're done. Go to the back.
Yeah. So everything that we found out about Vince McMahon whole scandal and everything, that kind of turned the number 20 entrant a little upside down, if you will. It was supposed to be the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. However, Brock's mentioned in the indictment against Vince McMahon in this lawsuit. So Brock is no longer going to be involved in WWE for the foreseeable future. Instead, the guy who's being shown right now in NXT, Braun Breaker, would get that number 20 entrant spot. Would come in and destroy everybody in his path. To be honest, he was damn impressive. I mean, he speared Jimmy Uso, eliminates him. Spears Finn Balor, eliminates him. He would even spear and eliminate Ivar as well. So, but the biggest thing was Braun Breaker would also spear and eliminate the 7'3" Nigerian giant Omos as well. And how many times do you see somebody actually get Omos off his feet?
Not much.
So, yeah, definitely very impressed by the outing that Braun Breaker had in the Royal Rumble match. Unfortunately, off of eliminating Omos, he would get dumped out from behind by Dominic Mysterio. Of all people, though.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Breaker is not done with the Judgment Day after that. But I want to ask you, though, before I go past that, what would you... I've seen the reports that this was a Brock Lesnar spot. Brock Lesnar was supposed to be eliminated by Dominic Mysterio, leading to a match between the two at Elimination Chamber. What do you think of that report? And I personally don't feel like that would be believable at all to see Brock Lesnar get eliminated by Dominic Mysterio.
My honest opinion, if that was the case, that they were going to have him, Brock, a multiple-time world champion, get him eliminated by Tom and Nick Mysterio. Yeah, no, no. I mean, I hope not. That wasn't the case, because that'd be embarrassed to Brock Lesnar's Brock Lesnar's Hall of Fame career. Craig Cosman got eliminated by Dominic Mysterio. Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it would have led to Brock decimating Dom at Elimination Chamber, but still, I wouldn't. I'm kind of glad Brock didn't end up in the match, because it's one thing for Braun Breaker to get eliminated by Dom, but if Brock would have been, that's something completely different.
It's a downgrade
for sure. Yes. Especially with the match that we all wanted Brock Lesnar to be a part of when it comes to WrestleMania, and was rumored to happen. You should have had, instead of Dom, you should have had Gunther be the one to eliminate Brock Lesnar. Because that was the match they were heading towards for WrestleMania, was what the rumor was.
Yeah, that would have been more realistic than Dom. I mean, come on.
Right? All right. Of course, I've gone past it, but after Breaker and Omos had made their entrance, Pat McAfee was the number 22 entrant to just come in the ring and then to go back outside the ring, which was funny. But yeah, that was pretty much the end of the surprises until it was the return of Sami Zayn, who, of course, went right after Drew McIntyre, the guy that took him out. Which was really nice to see Sami Zayn get the pop that he did and seeing him make his return in the Rumble match. Unfortunately, he wasn't in there a whole long time, but still was nice to see him.
Yeah, it was nice to see him, and that was an amazing moment. But it was too short.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at least he did get to eliminate Damian Priest from the match. That was not something I was expecting to see Sami eliminate Priest, but it happened. Then Sami would get eliminated, which would bring us to our final four. You got Punk, Drew, Rhodes, Gunther. At that point, I think pretty much you had to figure 3 of those 4 potentially could win. Though, if you look at the previous 3-4 weeks of Raw, you could make a case for any of those 4 guys to win this match, in my opinion. That were left as last 4.
Oh yeah, I feel like that the final 4 what they had, I think that was the right choice. Definitely the right choice. The other with the women's, you got the veterans against the rookies. I think Triple H played out the Royal Rumble to his version. So I think it was an excellent job to have them final 4 on the men. I think they were both had Gunther in it, and then you had Drew, who had 2 great promos with Cody and CM Punk. So yeah, it fits all into intertwine into that saga.
Right. Yeah, I'd say when you look at the entire field, I felt like those are the right 4 to have as a final 4. And they had a pretty good. They gave them a pretty good time between the 4 of them to get some shots in, and it wasn't just a quick eliminations like in the final 4 of the women's went down. But speaking of the backtrack to the women's, the final part of the women's match, I did like how they panned around and showed multiple women that had been eliminated just before the end of the match, sitting in disappointment as Bayley was celebrating the win. That was a nice touch. But back to the final 4. I mean, Drew and Punk kind of went at it. Gunther and Rhodes were going at it. And it looked like Drew might eliminate CM Punk a couple different times. But then at the end, Drew had Punk up. Punk managed to get out of it, got him up for the GTS, and dumped Drew out of the ring. You could see the shock on Drew's face from that and disappointment as he realized that he had been eliminated from the match.
Yeah, it was a little shock to him. I'm like, well, it's the Royal Rumble, so that's how it is. It's a shocker in every turn.
Right. And then, unfortunately for the Ring General, for the second year in a row, he would get eliminated by the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. I think Gunther needs to find a serum or somehow managed to get around being in the ring with Cody Rhodes when it comes to the Royal Rumble match anyway.
I definitely agree with you. It's like poor Gunther. He busted his butt last year from number one, and then he get eliminated by Cody, and then he comes in again like, oh, I'm gonna win it. Nope, Cody got me.
Cody's got his number apparently in the Royal Rumble anyway. That brought us down to the final two, and Punk and Cody had a really good outing here. Of course, both men had been in the ring for quite a long time, but I still felt like they gave them a decent amount of time for the final two here. I still, even watching that, I could watch it back, but I'd still say the best final two in a men's Royal Rumble match was in 2007 when The Undertaker went against Shawn Michaels and it's the final two. But this one would be up there towards the top, I feel like. And it looked like Punk was going to win at times. It looked like Cody was going to win at times. Punk, though, at the end, picks up Cody for the GTS and says he didn't come back after 10 years to lose to the Dusty's son. Cody gets out of it and manages to push over CM Punk to win the Royal Rumble match. Perhaps a bad choice of words from CM Punk, as he was about to win the Royal Rumble at that point, but ended up costing him in the long run. Perhaps underestimating Cody a little.
Oh yeah, I think it was a great back and forth, but yeah, 2007, it's number two, hands down, to Taker and Shawn. Taker and Shawn, and I think that was the first time that somebody from the number 30 spot actually won the Royal Rumble and Taker, so I think they really put their hearts in it. And yeah,
it was.
Yeah. And I think Punk did his excellent job to sell what he is, but man, I want your opinion on this. He looked really old in that match.
I don't know about old, but I feel like the injury that took place kind of played a factor into how he looked, personally.
Yeah. Did we know how
because that injury happened early on when Drew.
Do we know when it happened? Did it
Yeah,
happen
apparently it was
what?
off the. Yeah. So what the reports are saying is he took a future shock DDT from Drew during the match, and that's when he landed wrong on his shoulder.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too long after Drew entered, I believe.
But hands down, we also have to talk about that tag team match that was in the men's Royal Rumble too.
Oh, yes. R-Truth coming out there and needs the hot tag to get to be legal in the Royal Rumble. Again, Truth had the funniest moment in the match, I feel like.
And then Priest came in and punched him in the face and threw him out.
Yes. Priest got a little bit of revenge after Truth cost Priest his match against Drew McIntyre on Raw Monday Night. All right. And of course, after the match, as Cody's celebrating, points up to the WrestleMania sign and then turns and points up to Roman Reigns, which we'll get into more of that when we get into SmackDown talk here shortly. I would say, although the Fatal 4-Way match kind of didn't live up to what I thought it should have, it still was a really good Royal Rumble event, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree that I think what really helped that Royal Rumble was the women's one. It saved it saved the Royal Rumble because man, it was good. It was well planned. The men's one was a little lackluster, but at least we had the two. At least we had a great Final
Yeah,
Four there. But yeah, but I think the women's Royal Rumble match saved the entire show.
I agree. All right, let's move on to Monday Night Raw from this past Monday night. All right. So we kick off the show with CM Punk coming out to announce his injury, how severe it is. He's going to be out for several months. He unfortunately will be missing what looked to be his first ever WrestleMania main event, but says he will be back. Even though it might not look like it's in the cards right now, he will main event WrestleMania one day. Out comes Drew McIntyre, who has to gloat and say, I prayed about this. I prayed that you would get injured in this match and be taken out of WrestleMania. So I am directly involved in the reason that you are not going to be at WrestleMania. To which Punk would tell Drew, when I come back, I will main event WrestleMania, but first, I'm going to be coming after you. So, it's definitely an interesting promo between those two. But of course, things out start to get a little bit physical, and then Sami Zayn would come out and make the save, and Drew would go running away, and that's pretty much the end of that promo. It's CM Punk was taken out.
First of all, I got to say about that promo, cold
What
and
did you take? What was your take on that whole promo?
cold and calculated. I never heard of a man saying, "Hey, I'm gonna pray. I pray for you to get injured."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely a different side of Drew McIntyre than what we're used to seeing. That's for sure. All right. From there, we go in. Judgment Day would be backstage, say that they were no longer going to be the jokes, and they're going to go out to prove that they're not somebody to mess with anymore, and show why they are on top of Monday Night Raw. And then we got DIY versus Judgment Day for the tag team titles. I said this before, I'll say it again. I felt like this was DIY's best match on the main roster thus far. This was a great first match of Monday Night Raw. And I thought for sure DIY had the match won at a couple different points. However, unfortunately, at the end, Judgment Day would pull out the victory. South of Heaven led, followed by the coup de grace on Tommaso Ciampa for the 1-2-3 as Judgment Day retains the undisputed tag team titles. But again, great match to kick off Monday Night. After that fighting promo to start the show.
I agree with you. What a match, and DIY show that they're good. I mean, Judgment Day did excellent match. I'd love to see that again.
Yeah, me too. some point in time, we got to see it again. Of course, Judgment Day would then call out R-Truth, and pretty much it was Priest's way of telling R-Truth that they were done with all the fun and games, and Truth is not part of Judgment Day, never has been, never will be. He really likes Truth, so he wasn't going to be the one to do this, as JD McDonough attacks Truth from behind. Judgment Day takes out Truth. Miz comes out to try to make the save, but gets taken out as well, as Judgment Day stands tall over technically 4 guys, but DIY had rolled out of the ring at that point. So
do we see
the best Seth Rollins in NXT tonight?
Do we see a future tag team match between Awesome Truth and the Judgment Day at Mania? For the tag team? Yes.
Probably. I mean, yeah, I could see it happening. There was talks of them splitting up the tag titles, so I don't know how exactly we're getting there, but I could see the payoff for R-Truth in this storyline coming as him and Miz winning the tag titles.
I mean, it's not going to top last year's main event with the Usos and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
No.
But it's a match.
Oh, no, not at all. Yes. And it is. But, we'll see how that turns out. I wouldn't be surprised. From there, they go into Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus Chelsea Green, who got her announcement back again. Chelsea
Green
from our ring announcer, and of course Piper Niven. Yes, perfect. Great to hear that again. I was surprised, however, if you notice, they pretty much gave the babyface role to Chelsea Green and Piper Niven in this match, going into it and even throughout it, I felt like. So perhaps that's something to watch, perhaps a babyface turn for this tag team. Definitely interesting to see. Still wasn't a great women's tag team match, but it was better than the other women's tag team matches we've seen as of late.
Yeah, I agree.
Here retains.
I agree with you. I feel like this tag match was better. And yeah, I mean, what can you say? It's a women's tag team match. It's not then lackluster anymore.
Yeah. So then, which Zoe got the win with the Z360 on Chelsea Green. Can't forget to mention that. From there, we get to hear from the winner of the men's Royal Rumble match, the American Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes, who has Samantha Irving announce him twice. As she mentions, Cody is the winner of not only the 2023, but also of the 2024 men's Royal Rumble match. Something that hadn't been done in 27 years, so props to Cody Rhodes on that, becoming the first in 27 years to win back-to-back Rumbles. And Cody would talk about winning skills and pretty much would mention where we thought he was going to go until out comes the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins. Now, I will say the argument that was made here by Seth Rollins was a great argument he gave. And I can agree with a lot of what he said. Just like Cody mentioned on Friday, he could. But I wouldn't necessarily call the WWE Championship the Hollywood title. It's still, as Cody would later mention, it still is the top prize of this business. There's no other title that's bigger than the WWE Championship. Not even the World Heavyweight Championship, whether Seth wants to think so or not. But the lineage and everything else attached to the World Championship and was a great argument from Seth Rollins. And hey, Cody told him he'd think about it. So I felt like they played it off really well to make it so that you could feel like Cody actually had a little bit of doubt and there was actually a decision to be made.
My opinion, the excellent promo. Excellent promo, yes. What Seth said, he can't compare the World Heavyweight title to the Hollywood title because it hasn't been around that long. I mean, when he said about the Hollywood title,
Right.
look how many men that won that title. You got Flair, Hogan, Sheik, Backlund, Austin, The Rock, Taker. The list goes on and on. Bruno Sammartino. I mean, the list goes on and on. Seth Rollins, and even Seth Rollins, he has won that title. You know,
right.
That's the only thing I'm going to say because I feel like he said some good point about the World Heavyweight title, but show me the history of that title. There isn't any. If it was the old big gold belt, yes. You got guys like Steamboat, Hogan, Goldberg, Harley Race Vader. Go down Terry Funk. Go down the list if it was a big gold belt. It's not. And I get he's trying to make that the workman title, but it's just a title that they created because Roman didn't want to do the job. So, yeah, I do agree with him on some point, but some of the other points, he's dead wrong.
Yeah, I'd agree. Interesting to say the least, anyway. From there, we go in event Jey Uso versus Big Bronson Reed. And personally, I feel like since the move over to Raw, anyways, this was Jey Uso's best singles match since he became part of Monday Night Raw brand. And it was a great showing for Bronson Reed as well. But in the end, Jey Uso managed to get the 1, 2, 3, which was a big, big win for main event Jey Uso. One that he needs to go forward.
I do agree with you that, it was one of his best matches since he's been over on Raw. And, he's doing wonderful there. He's flourishing and all that. His brother, on the other hand, is stick with tag teams. There's something about Jimmy that you can see he's not used to doing single matches, and it shows.
Right. That's for sure. Jay's definitely got the other upper hand of it, but up to that point, 2 out of the 3 matches were really great. Those 2 matches, just the women's tag matches, wasn't all that great. But.
Mm-hmm. For a minute there, I thought you froze.
Oh no, sorry. They just were showing something that caught me off guard on NXT.
I was like this,
So-
like I was about to say, like, what? Did you freeze up? What's going on? Because you had this.
I know I got quiet there for a
I know.
second because they just. But anyway,
No, it's all right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that turns out. Back to where we were. Sorry about that.
Try my brother.
They go backstage after that match between Jay and Reed. Adam Andrade, as Andrade has officially signed to Monday Night Raw. Nick Aldis comes in and congratulates Andrade with signing for Raw. Him and Pierce go back and forth, and Aldis had a phone call from Braun Breaker, as it seems like pretty much all the guys and girls that returned or debuted in the Royal Rumble match are being chased after, if you will, by the two general managers.
I could be
Which is
shocked.
a good thing.
I was shocked because I thought for myself, I thought that Andrade was going to sign on SmackDown.
So did I. Like I didn't go over this when we went into the Royal Rumble when we talked about it, but when you and I talked last, I had said something about how I felt like Legado needed one more guy as part of their faction because when Ray comes back, LWO has an advantage. And I thought for sure that'd be Andrade. But in the Royal Rumble, it looked like Andrade and Santos were going to work together. Andrade didn't want nothing to do with Santos Escobar. So we'll have to see how that all plays out because I still feel like Legado's going to need somebody else to even up the odds once Rey Mysterio's cleared and healthy again. I'm just not sure who that will be.
Yeah. To me, I swore, I was like, wait a minute. Why is he not on SmackDown? Because
personally,
his wife is there.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. His wife's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
But if they do like this year, at the end of April last year is when they did the draft. So they could do the draft at the end of April again this year or at some point not long after and move him over to SmackDown or move Charlotte over to Raw. Charlotte is out injured for who knows how long right now, too. So that could play into it as well.
They were saying sometime in October she'll be ready.
Something like that, yeah. But she's, from what I've seen, Ric Flair posted on social media, she's training like a beast and trying to do the whole John Cena, trying to get back sooner than what's expected, too. So, which, if any woman could do that, I would bet my money on Charlotte being the one to do it.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Go backstage to the Intercontinental. Yeah. To go backstage to the Intercontinental Champion, the ring general Gunther, saying that Kofi better bring the best version of him to this match if he wants to try and have a chance to take the Intercontinental title. Jackie Red will catch up with Becky, asking her what her plans are going forward. Becky's just going to keep going forward, pretty much what we got from there. And we get an incredible Intercontinental Championship match as Kofi Kingston brought the fight to the ring general Gunther here. A couple different points. It looks like Kofi might actually dethrone the Intercontinental Champion. However, in the end, Gunther would pick up the victory, retain his title, and continue his reign as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. But man, Kofi on multiple occasions.
Yeah, Kofi did an excellent job. I just felt bad for Kofi. Man, when Gunther hit you, I thought he was going to take his skin off. He smacked so hard that you can hear it in the arena.
I know. Right? Yes, he can. Match too, especially right towards the end, and then Gunther had to go and kill everything just by hitting Kofi with a couple moves and pinning him to get the victory.
Yeah.
Yes, no Kofi, at least for the Intercontinental title this year. No.
Yeah.
I don't know how likely it is, but I'm still hoping this whole rivalry turns into New Day versus Imperium with the return of Big E.
Oh, I'm so.
And maybe Big E's the one to find. I have a feeling it won't happen that way, and Jey Uso is going to be the one possibly to take the IC title, but I'd rather see Big E return and do it. It's because Kofi and did get taken out by all three members of Imperium after the match, too. So, well, by Kaiser and Vinci, Gunther just watched.
Yeah. Or what do you think about this?
But we'll see what happens.
What do you think about this? Maybe a curveball. What about Kaiser versus Gunther?
I feel like we'll head that way at some point in time. I don't think WrestleMania is going to be that time, but I could see it happening at some point.
Yeah. If you go back to the Royal Rumble, Gunther was chewing out Kaiser when he got eliminated.
Right. We've seen that plenty of times before.
Yeah.
And even him get physical with Kaiser before, so. We'll see what happens. All right, from there we move on. The Kabuki Warriors would go against Natalya and Knox. Now, whereas the other women's tag team match was pretty decent on this episode of Raw, this one kind of, again, just kind of fell flat to me. You knew Asuka and Kairi were going to win. They did. Tegan and Natalya just elbow on Tegan to get the win. Nothing really big to take out of it otherwise. I felt like.
Let's just say
of course, Jackie Redmond would catch up with Katana and Caden, who announced that they're getting a rematch this upcoming Monday. What's that?
Let's just say this one thing about that match. Natalya's turning heel. Again.
Oh, I'm sure she will.
Yeah.
All right, from there we go in. We got Damage Control in the ring. Really talking about her plans for everybody to be a champion in Damage Control, how things are looking, and her chance to pick who she's going to face at WrestleMania. Out comes the Women's World Champion, Rhea Ripley, telling Bayley that she better pick somebody else if she wants to be successful in her WrestleMania match. Before Rhea could finish what she's saying, though, she gets attacked from behind by Nia Jax and gets destroyed in front of Damage Control in the ring by Nia Jax. Pick somebody else because Rhea Ripley's not making it to WrestleMania, which Bayley said, well, you would have let me finish. I was just going to say I'm going to make my announcement on SmackDown Friday night. Damage Control had already left the ring and Bayley was cornered. And Bayley would roll out of the ring as Nia Jax would bask in her glory, if you will, after she had dismantled the women's champion. It's a pretty good segment, and it's gonna, of course, gonna lead to a match at Elimination Chamber between Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley, I'm sure, for the women's world title.
It was just another Nia Jax beatdown, so yeah.
Pretty much. So then we move on to the main event. You got Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. These two have really good chemistry, I've noticed, together, and they put on another hell of a match. In the end, Drew hits a Claymore after inadvertent. I don't know if it technically was or not, but that's why I put quotes around it. Low blow by Drew off of a haluva kick attempt. Then Drew hits the Claymore to get the 1-2-3. I'm enjoying this heel version of Drew McIntyre. I mean, he still comes out there clapping hands with some of the crowd, but the full-on heel turn, you can tell, is definitely coming for Drew McIntyre.
I like the new like you said, I like the new vicious side of Drew. Just get rid of the face side, the 3-2-1, and clap it at the fans. I think this version of his heel turn is going to be better than when he came back.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. So personally, I felt like this was a great episode of Monday Night Raw for the first episode on the road to WrestleMania, and honestly, maybe even the best episode of Raw this year so far. Day one was a really good episode, though. So I'm not. It's between those two. Those are the top two episodes of Raw so far, I felt like.
Wow. I agree with you. Anyway. I agree with you.
They put it number 2.
I agree with you. I feel like after the Rumble, it feels like after every pay-per-view, the WWE kicks into high gear and go like, "Yeah, we got to make this one because the last one sucked." So yeah, I thought, yeah, I agree.
Right. Right. And we'll see what happens with Raw this upcoming Monday, knowing that Katana and Kaden get a tag team title rematch against the Kabuki Warriors. Especially after what we see on SmackDown Friday. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Holy crap, how did he get him up into that power round? Wow. Anywho, NXT time. So the show started off with the other Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic semifinals match, as you had Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes versus the LWO's Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde. I have been so impressed lately with the way that they booked Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro. More so on NXT. I mean, you and I had talked about this a couple weeks ago. They've been given a lot more opportunities, I feel like, in NXT lately. They're getting some opportunities on SmackDown, but they just haven't been able to get over the hump and pick up wins is the main problem there. But they look really good here, even though they did lose, of course, to Trick Mello Gang. But I still felt like Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro had a great showing, even though Trick would pick up the win for his team, pinning Joaquin Wilde after his finish. So.
Yeah, like we talked about it before, they're getting their moments.
My take on it.
Almost definitely. Yeah, they're getting their moments. Yeah. Eventually, it's going to click on the main roster that they're going to take it to the next level. Give it time. They're going to do it, and I see a better future for the LWO.
Yeah. Let's hope so. All right. From there, we went in. They had Roxanne Perez versus Tatum Paxley with the women's champion Lyra Valkyria on commentary. Roxanne looked pretty good here. Tatum Paxley, I feel like, is getting better and better. but still isn't quite on the same level as what a Roxanne Perez is. And it kind of here. Roxanne hits Pop Rocks, of course, to pick up the victory. We'll see how things progress from there. But it was a decent match. I'll give it that much.
It's a Roxanne Perez match.
Got anything to add to that match?
It's a Roxanne Perez match. I mean, what are you gonna do? You have her teacher outside looking to see what she's doing wrong.
Yeah. So we go from one women's match to another that had quite a bit of story to it against Lola Vice. I personally was a bit impressed by what those two did in the ring together, one-on-one, compared to what we've seen from those two as a tag team. I wasn't too impressed as seeing them as a tag team personally, but I felt like they had a pretty good match between the two of them. And I mean, in the end, Lola would pick up a victory, as of course Elektra's on her way out of NXT, heading to SmackDown, so she did the honors, I would say, to Lola Vice to give Lola what she needed going into NXT tonight. So I thought it was a good showing from both of the women in that match.
Yeah, it was a good showing, and I feel like Lola Vice, and I don't know if that match happened yet. I feel like tonight Lola Vice is going to cash in her thing and become the new NXT Women's Champion, because Roxanne Perez is going to turn heel.
I won't spoil anything, but something along those lines did happen.
Okay.
I've been trying not, other than that first match, I was trying not to tell you who won matches.
No, it's all right. Okay.
I don't know if you're going to watch it later or not.
I'll watch it later.
All right. So from there, we go in. They had Ridge Holland versus Lexis King. Wow. Again, Lexis King looked really good. I feel like Ridge has looked pretty good in his NXT tenure as well in the ring. But again, unfortunately for him, Dallas would get involved and Lexis King would pick up a win with the coronation off of distraction by Gallus.
Yeah, it's a different. I agree with you. Like, Ridge is doing a lot better. He's doing better in NXT than he did in the main roster. And like I said before about the last time we talked about NXT, what the hell is going on with Lexis King's mustache or beard, whatever the hell is wrong with him? He looks like he looks like
Right.
he looks like Captain Jack Sparrow.
He does, doesn't he? Great comparison.
Could we see the return of Paul Burchill as the pirate?
Maybe. All right. Of course, Gallus would beat up Ridge Holland again after the match. Nothing unusual there. They just about to prove that Rich has no friends, which eventually somebody's got to come out and help him one of these weeks. I feel like is what it's leading to. But from there, we go into Fallon Henley with Ren Sinclair in her corner against Ariana Grace. Again, another decent women's match. Jakara Jackson and Last Legend would get involved. Off of their distractions and involvement, Ariana Grace would pick up a big win. That's pretty much all you can take from it. Metaphor getting involved where they don't need to again.
Yeah, and it's always nice to see Santino Marella's daughter win a match.
Right? And of course, that brings us to the main event of NXT, which was in ring, anyways. Von Wagner had his NXT Heritage Championship match against Noam Dar. I felt like Von Wagner had some big spots in the match, but I thought they should have at least given him one fall in this instead of having him lose 2 straight to Noam Dar. I mean, yes, Metaphor did get involved, but still. Would have been nice if they would have gave Von Wagner something to go with. Afterwards, Von did powerbomb Oro Mensa through the table, so I'm sure this whole storyline's not over with yet.
I hope it is, because I still think Von Wagner should be up in the main roster and not still in NXT. And I get they're trying to figure something out with him, but he should have been up on the main roster last year.
Yeah, well, he is a free agent, I do believe. He was announced as a free agent during the draft, but he still hasn't really shown up anywhere else. So.
No.
All right. So then after that main event match, we had the whole, it wasn't contract signing, it was just talking pretty much between Trick Williams and Ilya Dragunov. This was the point I wanted to make. They traded back and forth talking about Carmelo and what happened months back. Before the end of this whole promo, they shake hands. Ilya pulls him in for a hug, and he says something, whispers something into the ear of Trick Williams. And the look that you see on Trick's face was of like shock or surprise or whatever you want to call it. Then Carmelo gets involved, get a huge brawl, Breaker and Corbin get involved, and Carmelo comes out try to make the save. My question is, did Ilya tell Trick that he has some proof that a couple months back? Or did Ilya Dragunov confess to Trick Williams that he's the one that took Trick out several months back? Because I have a feeling it was one of those two. So I don't know why Trick would have that look on his face otherwise.
I think Elio told him that it was Trick all along, that it was Carmelo Hayes all along with the attack.
Possibly.
That's my opinion. And I'm not trying to say anything about your boy Mello. You know, that's your boy right there. But the shock look was.
I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being the one that's revealed as the person I think. But
yeah.
we'll see. They're right now getting ready for that match. But I wouldn't be surprised to see whatever he told Trick come to light by the end of this show or on NXT on Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting night.
All right.
For the main event, and then we'll find out if it comes true tonight or we have to wait until Tuesday.
Right. Anyway, I'm sure if it was Carmelo that revealed as the one that attacked him, they'll probably end up in a match. Carmelo and Trick at Stand and Deliver if that's the case. Oh, do want to mention Monday Night Raw Monday did start with the new commentators of Michael Cole and Pat McAfee officially back on commentary, which also leads us to the new commentary team for SmackDown. As now, for the first time in his career, Corey Graves is the lead commentator on a brand. He is the play-by-play, and the color commentator is Wade Barrett. I know when I was talking to John last weekend, I was saying how Jim Ross could potentially come back and be the commentator for SmackDown, or maybe bring back Amaro Ronaldo. I'm quite intrigued and interested to see, though, how this pairing of Corey Graves and Wade Barrett does together going forward, though.
Well, we're going to talk about it right now. When I saw that new lineup, all right, Pat McAfee and Cole on Raw, yes, it's a good fit because they worked on SmackDown together. But you got to give it up to Corey Graves. From a guy that used to be a former NXT champion to an announcer to now the lead commentator. I mean, you got to give him props. I mean, going from that to that, it's always a triumph. Like, do I want to come back to wrestling? But I think him and Wade Barrett are going to do a wonderful job.
I hope so, anyway. To kick off their show, though, their first time together, we get Logan Paul, the United States champion, to kick off Friday Night SmackDown, coming out to talk about how he necessarily won, but retained his United States championship at the Royal Rumble by DQ, but still walked out, still a champion. He gets interrupted by Kevin Owens. They trade insults back and forth about stuff. KO wants a rematch. Logan Paul says you blew your one and only chance. That's all you're getting. You don't get no rematch. Logan Paul might say that, but to me, this promo just reinforces that we're going to see a rematch between these two guys at some point in time. I mean, just seeing the DQ finish pretty much tells you that these two are in with each other.
Yeah, I don't see them. I don't see this ending at Rumble. Yeah, I see it maybe at Elimination Chamber or, at Mania. But we're gonna get another. We're gonna get another rematch with these two.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Let me ask you this. Because the way the match went, do you think it's going to be a stipulation? Maybe something in a steel cage or anything goes.
I think it should be. Whether or not they'll do it that way, you never know. But I mean, at least it'd be better than a Judy Bagwell on a pole match, I guess. But still.
Mrs. Bagwell, you had the weirdest match.
Anyway, it would lead into KO versus Austin Theory. Those two seem to put on good matches against each other all the time. By Kevin Owens after KO used the brass knuckles. The referee just didn't see it this time, and he put him in his knee pad to make sure that the ref didn't catch him. Even though there was two other guys out there trying to stop him. And Grayson Waller even ate the brass knucks too. So KO just proven that he'll go to any means to pick up a victory and proved it there. And then he chases after Logan Paul and chases Logan Paul out of the arena. So,
I mean, the funny part about it that he waved to him when he had the brass knuckles in his hand. Like this, like he had the brass knuckles. He's like, hi.
Right? It was great. And they go backstage to see Michin, Shotzi, and Bianca Belair outside of Nick Aldis's office. Now comes Naomi with a SmackDown contract, as she is now officially part of the SmackDown roster. And comes out of Nick Aldis's office and announces she is officially signed to Friday Night SmackDown. And she's not willing to, she's not afraid to get into the fight with the biggest. And she decides to slap Michin. You'd think she'd go after Bianca since Bianca was there. But no, it's Michin she slaps and then walks away. And Michin tells Nick that she wants Tiffany Stratton in a match to show her not to mess with her, pretty much. That match gets made. And then from there, you got Nick Aldis talking with Bianca Belair in his office to be interrupted by Logan Paul. Logan saying he wants a new challenger for his United States Championship. He wants to prove that he's not just a part-timer, as people are saying. Bianca calling him rude because he came in there and interrupted her, and they had their whole thing back and forth. Be interesting to see where things lead from there, since Bianca doesn't have anybody that can really she can insert in the match with Logan Paul, since Tez is busy with something else. But
it was a little weird to have them both two in a conversation, but yeah, seeing Tiffany Stratton slapping the bubble gum out of Michin's mouth was like, wow, you smacked it so hard. I think she had gum in her mouth and it got spit out.
Right? Really interesting. From there, we go in. They showed a really nice video for Legado del Fantasma leading into the Fatal 4-Way match. Pretty Deadly versus British Strong Style versus the LWO versus Legado in a contenders match, where the winner of the Fatal 4-Way match would go on to next week to face a winner of a 4-Way match that'll take place on Raw Monday. And then the winner of that match this next week on SmackDown will go on to face the undisputed tag team champions at Elimination Chamber. If you caught all that, congrats.
I did.
It was a mouthful.
I did. Wow.
Pretty good fatal four-way match. One of the parts that sticks out the most, they did this spot in NXT, but it still was amazing here on SmackDown. You have all four of the heels on the outside of the ring, and Joaquin Wilde gets on the ropes and has the other three guys catapult him off the ropes onto everybody on the floor. About 20 feet away, probably, if not further.
Oh, that man, he could jump.
Wild spot from Joaquin Wilde, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes, he can. But in the end, Pretty Deadly tried to play Twin Magic. Didn't work out for him. But Pete Dunne would get a hold of Kit Wilson's fingers, snap him, and him and Tyler Bate would hit the double Tyler driver. Tyler Bate picks up the 1-2-3. Has pretty strong style, wins yet again, and we'll head into the match this coming Friday night to determine the number one contenders for the tag titles.
Do we know who the Raw Fatal Four is?
I almost felt like they could have gave that match two of the four tag teams in the Raw way. Yeah, not that I've seen anyway. I would think probably Imperium, New Day. Who else would be in there?
Awesome
DIY.
Truth.
Possibly. Maybe that'll be the four teams. I mean,
Or
usually you'd think it'd be two heels. I don't know. There's so many tag teams they could choose from, so it's hard to say.
Yeah. My opinion, and I don't know if you agree with me, if DOI is in that match, put them against the British Strong Style for number one contenders match on SmackDown. That'll be a great match.
It would be. And it would be. I'd love to see it. I felt like the Fatal 4-Way could have had a little bit more time to it, but it's understandable why they didn't when we get to the end of the show. But it was a really good match anyways for the time they had. From there, they go backstage. You see Io, Sky, Asuka, and Kairi Sane talking after they showed what had happened with Bayley and Nia Jax and Maria on Raw Monday night. And then as Io tells Asuka and Kairi that they won't have to worry anymore about Bayley after the night Bayley was done, Bayley is shown as those three walk away as she had overheard everything. We go from there. They get the video. We were mentioning this. The video that they show for Cody Rhodes' decision that he has to make. They did bring in, surprisingly, the lineage of the World Heavyweight Championship that was used in NWA and WCW as part of this argument in the video that they showed. Even though they don't include the lineage of that World Championship to the current WWE World Championship. I thought it was a really nice video package anyways. From there, Mike Rome introduces Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce and calls out Damage Control. And this is probably one of the best parts of the whole episode of SmackDown. Bayley's decision. They show Rhea Ripley backstage, watch on the monitor. But Bayley says Damage Control is like a family to her, mean everything to her. She's wanted them to become, she brought them together to be the very best women's faction in WWE history. So it sounded like she was going to go on and pick Rhea Ripley, but then she's like, but sometimes you got to prove yourself to who you think is your best friend. She speaks a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Japanese, and reveals that she's understood all the digs and shade thrown at her and everything else traded between the three Japanese women all along. She's known and has understood everything. She's picked up from car rides and everything else. And with all that, she wants to know why things have gone the way they have. When she brought Dakota and Io together, it was to make history as the tandem. And she doesn't understand what's going on. Of course, that leads to the Kabuki Warriors attacking Bayley from behind. However, for the Kabuki Warriors, unfortunately for them, Bayley had a lead pipe. She was ready for this attack and gets the better of those two. And then we get the great stare down, really, between Bayley and Io, as Bayley's got the lead pipe in her hand, Io's got the women's title in hers. And Io ends up leaving. Bayley says that at WrestleMania, she will see Io Sky, as she will be challenging Io for the women's championship. I felt like it was a great promo to lead into the match we're getting at WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
We all knew this was the way they were going to go.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It was a great promo. And the other time when Bayley hit Kyrie, I think she hit the women's tag team title because you heard the ding.
Yeah, probably.
But, you know, like you said about the lineage of the video package they put of the World Heavyweight title with Seth, I liked it that they show the history of the World Heavyweight title, but it's not the one, but they did an excellent job on that one too.
Yeah, they did. Man, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of where things go between Bayley and Io and Asuka and Kyrie. One thing I will say, though, where was Dakota Kai? She was nowhere to be seen the entire night on Friday. How's she going to play into all this?
Well, my thing is that she's going to drag Bayley along, and then she's going to reveal herself as the new leader of Damage Control. I feel like she's going to be like, I can't believe they did that to you, and stuff like that. So I have a gut feeling that's the way it's going to go, that she's going to turn on her maybe 2 weeks before WrestleMania. So that's the way I was thinking.
Yeah. That's possible. I mean, it does look like Dakota's not wearing the knee brace anymore, and she is supposed to be cleared soon if she hasn't already. So she can get physical, I'm sure, again soon.
Yeah.
From there, we go in. We're supposed to get a 6-man tag match. It was supposed to be the final versus Bobby Lashley and Street Profits. But instead, we get a brawl. Scarlett jumps on the back of Bobby Lashley. And B-Fab, of all people, comes out and takes Scarlett off of the back of Bobby and hits her with a pump kick. Pump kick that she didn't really land right on. And still tell B-Fab needs a little bit of work. But nonetheless, the odds have been evened up a little bit more. They still have a Paul Ellering for the Final Testament, but definitely was an interesting brawl, and you got to see Bobby and the Street Profits and B-Fab stand tall. Match actually happened.
You want my opinion about this feud? Just get the matches. Just do a 6-man. It's taking too long. It's taking too long. Just get the match done.
Nice.
And the other thing with B-Fab,
yeah, I kind of agree with that.
I would have picked somebody else to be in that group.
Yeah, it should have been Bianca.
Yeah,
honestly.
And who you gonna get? You're gonna get.
This is what it is, I guess.
I mean, who you gonna get for Paul Ellering? You're gonna get James D. Cornette.
Maybe. I don't think they'll probably really worry about it. Paul Ellering's not going to do too much. He can do some stuff, but. And then from there, you go backstage to Nick Aldis talking with Braun Breaker. Adam Pearce comes in and, he was handed Braun Breaker SmackDown contract. Adam Pearce comes in and says, hey, before you sign that, you should come over to Raw Monday night and listen to what I can offer you. Because I have a contract I can offer you as well, which Braun says he'll take his contract, the SmackDown contract, with him. He'll give it some thought, and he'll hear what Adam Pearce has to say Monday night on Raw before he makes a decision. And in comes Jade Cargill, which Nick tells Adam Pearce to leave because he doesn't want anything to do with Adam Pearce in there while he talks to Jade Cargill. Again, as I said from Monday, it looks like the GMs are doing their best work trying to sign anybody and everybody that was a part of the Royal Rumble match on Saturday.
I just have this feeling at Braun Breaker, because like you said during the Royal Rumble review, Breaker's going to go to Raw because they want him to face Dominic in the Judgment Day. And I see the same thing go with Jade Cargill, because they want her to have this match with Nia Jax. So I feel like you have Jade Cargill and Braun Breaker Raw, and then you got Tiffany Stratton and Naomi on that brand. And then when Carmelo and Trick Williams comes over, they'll be on the SmackDown side. But yeah, why would you start two feuds?
Yeah, probably.
Why would you start two feuds with guys and two feuds with two people if you're not going to have them on your show?
Right. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. So then we go in. You got the main event match: Tiffany Stratton versus Michin. It was a match. It was good for what it was. Michin's a really good athlete. Tiffany Stratton's good, but I still think there's some more room for improvement. Her prettiest moonsault ever, she missed it for the most part. It still gets a 1, 2, 3 on it, but it was to be expected for her to pick up the first win in her first match, especially going against Michin on SmackDown. The bubble thumbs up.
Yep.
So, nothing else you got to say about that match then?
Nope.
Okay. Now we address the elephant in the room then. The actual main event of Friday Night SmackDown. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, comes out to make his decision, but before he can come out comes the Tribal Chief, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, along with the Bloodline. Roman has to put down little brother Seth Rollins in all of his comments about the WWE Championship. Among other things. And then we finally get Cody to come out, and Cody talks up how he still needs to finish that story. He's gunning for Roman Reigns. He still wants to take the WWE Championship, but not just the WWE Championship. He wants to take everything. He wants to take the crowd. He wants to take the camera, the announcers. He wants to take it all away from Roman Reigns. And he's counsel from other superstars, former superstars, family members all week. But there was one person in particular that he seeked counsel from, that he had to have involved in this decision. Because he's coming after Roman and everything that Roman had, just not at WrestleMania. Which leads us to the return of the great one, The Rock. As it looks like, as we get just the stare down between Rock and Roman to close out the show, as it looks like we're finally going to see Rock versus Roman. But man, the backlash that WWE has gotten on social media from that post, been insane. And I can't blame him. There it is. I personally, so my take on this whole thing is nothing was made official. Cody did not say he's definitely facing Seth Rollins for the world title at WrestleMania. Cody just said he had some counsel from The Rock. There's a press conference this upcoming Thursday. There's still Monday Night Raw on Monday. The crowd is going ape shit, the viewers, I should say, the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community, about how Rock has stolen Cody's chance at finishing the story. To me, let the story play out. Who knows exactly what they're planning on doing? They're just trying to get more press, better press, with everything that came out about Vince McMahon, is what I feel like. I've been wanting to see this Rock versus Roman match, and I still want to see it at some point in time. But I also agree with a lot of people. I want to see Cody finish the story against Roman Reigns and take that from at WrestleMania. That's my take on all of it. Just let it play out. Let's see where they're heading. You never know. This is a different regime than what we're used to.
Yeah. I agree with you. I feel like, yes, do we want Cody to finish the story? Absolutely. I felt like he should have finished the story last year in Hollywood. But no, they let Roman win the title. But seeing Rock, Roman, we've been waiting for this for almost 4 years. And
yes.
And you got to look on the business side. Rock, Roman, box office smash right there. WrestleMania, that match goes through. We won't know into this. That is going to break a WrestleMania attendance.
Yeah.
With Cody,
It will.
He didn't say if he was going to choose Seth. Because I don't think he will. But we'll wait till then. Maybe Roman puts the title up at Elimination Chamber. Stuff could change. That's what I gotta say. But yeah, the backlash is so deep, man. I hear people yelling like, "Well, what are they doing to Cody? You know, the Rock's ego." No, people wanted this match for 4 years, and it never happened. Now it's happening. People are pissed.
Yep. I don't know. I want to see the match, but I don't want to see it for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And I seen somebody, Ryan Satin, I believe who it was, on social media, on Twitter today, X, whatever you want to call it, said all this not needing, having a big match, but not needing a world championship is newer stuff. Newer for people to come out with. I call bullshit on that. There's been plenty of times that you have big matches at WrestleMania that haven't the WWE champ, Hogan and Rock, for instance. You didn't need a championship there. They proved it. Rock and Cena won. They didn't need a championship there. They just had a full year to build to it. Didn't need the title. There's plenty of story between Rock and Roman for.
Let's go back to WrestleMania 7. Let's go back to WrestleMania 7. Warrior Savage.
Right. There's no title. It was just a career versus career match.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with them saying that to it, because not every match, every big match has to have a title to it, and Roman and Rock don't need a title. There's enough of a story there, the bloodline, both being part of the same family, looking out for that head of the table spot. They don't need the championship there. I'd rather see Roman drop the title at Elimination Chamber, or maybe like I seen somebody post today, maybe all this is just Cody versus Roman, and Cody's counsel of getting Rock brought in is Rock's going to be the special. Who knows? Nothing was made official and everything pulled out from under him. It's like, yes, we want Cody. We want Cody to finish the story, but let the story unfold before you go after Triple H's throat, pretty much, you know?
Yeah, I agree. There's even some other rumors I've been seeing that, and I agree with yours too, but there's other rumors that it was The Rock who told to the elders to send Sikoa, that Sikoa might turn on Roman because it was The Rock that sent him to infiltrate into the bloodline. There's rumors about that as well, too.
Yeah.
You're right.
You never know.
When
I say, just let the story play out.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just saying, just let the story play out. But just watch and see what happens next, you know?
Most definitely. And when
they're just trying to get,
like what you said, you said this. They don't need a WWE championship in that way. To me, this is the battle of the bloodline, family. Who is the head of the table? Is it The Rock or Roman Reigns? That's the only thing what this match needs. Who is the head of the bloodline of the family?
Right. And, you know, I've seen some people say, you know, if they're just going to go this route, if that is the match that they're doing, Rock versus Roman, why have Cody win the Royal Rumble in the first place and point up to Roman? Just doesn't make sense. Which, again, like I say, just let the story play out, because who knows? There's talks. I mean, I've seen online too, people saying, hey, this is just, they wanted everybody to have something to talk about in social media or whatever, because they wanted to take the attention away from the Vince McMahon lawsuit. They wanted to get some good press out there. Maybe this isn't good press, but still, they wanted a different story out there, if you will. So, who knows? People need to just chill and ride it out.
Yeah, and I agree with you with the part with the reason why they rushed this because of the Vince McMahon scandal. And it's a doozy. But yeah, I get it. They needed to take that away. And the other thing is why you have Cody win back-to-back Royal Rumbles and you're not going to let him finish the story. You know, you got too many people that are, me and you, we're diehard wrestling fans. But damn, we know when it's just a storyline, you know, you don't have to take it and get into like, have to go to counseling.
Right. I know. So this upcoming week's gonna be interesting. I mean, we got Raw Monday night. We got NXT on Tuesday. I mean, after just watching their show tonight, they've got a lot that's going to go on there. Thursday night is their press conference in Vegas. The WrestleMania press conference, kickoff press conference. That is going to tell a lot of things, I have a feeling, for everybody. And we'll probably answer some much needed questions. Monday night might give us some answers too. Who knows? Then Friday you got SmackDown. 4 big shows, because you have to include that Thursday show, because that's going to give a lot of things to us, I have a feeling. Because why else would they do something? Just announce it. And going to be there. Roman's going to be there. Cody, Triple H. CM Punk injuries, Brock Lesnar being out of commission, not being factored in. Yes, those are huge blows to WrestleMania. We don't need Rock versus Roman for the championship just because of those factors. Cody versus Roman is enough to put butts in the seats, because Cody's proven he is a hot ticket item. He can sell the tickets just fine. That's what I still say on that. I look forward to seeing, as we continue down the road to WrestleMania, how this week plays out. Will the fans still be in an uproar come next weekend? Probably for some reason, but who knows what reason. We'll have to wait and see.
Something else has to happen in wrestling so they can get off the
last couple of weeks have definitely been a whirlwind when it comes to WWE. Anyways.
Oh God, yes. Yes, definitely.
Again, the last 2 weeks have been interesting between TV shows and everything that's happened behind the scenes. And this is just a start to the road to WrestleMania, if you can believe that. It feels like we're heading down the highway and a very bumpy road at the moment.
Yeah. If I can quote SummerSlam 98, we are on the highway to hell.
That very well could be. We'll see. The biggest WrestleMania of all time, perhaps.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to check something. This week. So, how's your schedule looking next Saturday?
I work from 11 to 2. 11 to 2 I work this. Yeah.
Okay, so you should be good to do a show on Saturday then?
Yep. The 17th I can't, because 3 days before that it's wifey's birthday, so I'm taking her out.
That's fine. We could do that Sunday if we need to.
Yeah.
I just figured this upcoming weekend, Sunday's Super Bowl. So
Oh yeah. We're not.
Yeah, you better do Saturday.
Yeah. We're not. No. This Saturday be a little time. That'd be perfect for me. Do we do it at the same time, or what do you want to do?
So I work 9 to 5. I would say we could either start at 8 or we can even start at 7. Would be fine.
Let's do it at 7.
Okay. So we'll plan on 7 o'clock this upcoming Saturday. I'm gonna play before I try to get it. All right. Okay, as usual for when we do 2 weeks in a row. With that though, I think we're gonna cut this off here. For anybody who watched earlier throughout this live show, anybody who watches later, we need to get something figured out to get more fan interaction in here. Just saying. Thanks for watching anyways. And you and I will talk a little bit more strategy about stuff after we go off.
Yeah, please do. Yes.
Thank you for joining us always. Thank you for joining us always. Been fun. Look forward to seeing what this next week brings us.
And before we go, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the road to WrestleMania. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
I think I'm going to have. How it shows it.